Hello, and welcome to another episode of Community Conversations. I'm your host, Sierra Jackson. The U.S. is failing mothers when it comes to maternal mental health. A new report shows that Maryland is in the top 10 states when it comes to policies that support mental health among new mothers. However, the state only received a C- according to a nationwide report card from the policy think tank called Policy Center for Maternal Mental Health. Today, I'm joined by self-proclaimed transformation guide, Latasha Gatling, whose main goal is to inspire overwhelmed mothers to ditch their survival mode lifestyles and find joy from within. Latasha, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Sierra. This is like so exciting because I think it's a very important topic. So I'm just really excited and honored to be here today.
Thank you. Well, thanks for coming. So can you tell us how you got into this business? What made you decide that this was going to be your goal?
Well, the funny thing is I feel like God, placed it upon me. I feel like it's my purpose. I started doing like business strategy, helping people with that. And because I am like a people pleaser, I realized I was just exerting so much energy into that. And I started attracting moms my way. And those moms were having issues, whether it was with their job, their family, or themselves. And I realized that they had that void there. And as we continue to work, their mindset was like at the helm of it. And I realized that they just needed some assistance with being able to like think better of themselves and believe in themselves the way that I believed in them.
So you're a mom yourself, right? How many
Yes.
children do you have?
I have 3, 7, 9, and 17.
Wow, I definitely want to know from looking at you, but even just speaking on the phone and right here in studio today, you have
Yeah.
so much energy. So like
Thank
you're
you.
like a self-testament of this game.
Yes, like when I started working on my mindset, I didn't realize like how bad off I was. And one of the things I want moms to understand about mindset is that when you start working on it, it's actually a journey to self-forgiveness and personal growth. And it seems like as soon as I started to forgive myself for past mistakes and other things that I went through where I like lacked self-worth and self-esteem, my confidence grew. And that's what gives me the energy I have today.
So what are some of those struggles that you had with your first child versus your third child?
Well, being a first time mom, you don't know what to expect. You kind of like go off of everybody's advice. And as we know, when it comes to Black maternal health, you're 3 to 5 times more likely to die giving birth. And that is a sad fact. But in having my son, I was nervous about actually having labor. So everybody was like, get the epidural, it'll be fine. But when you see that needle, that thing is like this long, and it's like I had to just make so many like decisions because he tried to come early, like a month early. And that scared me. So it was a lot of fear in the first time because I didn't think that I had choices and I was asking for permission to give birth. But when I had my third child, I was actually with the doctor who I'd had the whole 9 months, which also is like, you don't really get that. You usually get whoever is on call. But the doctor, she was like with me and monitoring me. And she said, no, I think today is the day to have the baby. I see something going on with the heartbeat and stuff. So we want to go ahead and get her out now because we feel like she's healthy enough to be viable. So the baby number 3, it really felt like I had more choice, more freedom. And I was able to like have my husband there who was also my advocate, that all of that stuff makes a big difference.
One of the things we talked about over the phone was just about how a lot of giving birth is revolved around convenience. Soon as women find out they're pregnant, they're like, oh no, is it going to be in April? Is it going to be in December? They want to know how the weather, how birthday plans are going to be affected. But not only that, but just, school enrollment. Like soon as women find out they're pregnant, they start thinking 5 years ahead. So can you tell me some of the ways that you help women plan ahead, either if they're a first-time mom or they're just going through life changes? Like, how do you help them planning ahead?
Well, one thing I tell moms is that when you're working on yourself, you have to think about how you act. And that's the acronym that I've created. It stands for being accountable for where you are in life. That means where you are with your job, your family, and yourself. Do you like or love these things? If you don't, you got to make some changes. You need to be consistent in building your confidence to move forward on your healing journey. So that means you got to learn how to deal with loss. Everything is not going to go your way. So all of that control of, well, I want to have the baby on this date, because you have to let that go and let God, please, have some faith. And last but not least, the T is for take care of yourself. You have to put yourself first. And the way you put yourself first and prioritize your needs is by being accountable and being consistent and building your confidence.
Wow. So what has been something or it was the most shocking thing you say you've learned just from helping other women?
The amount of people who don't really love themselves.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
it has been amazing to see how many moms, they look beautiful on the outside, they keep their hair and nails done, their house is like immaculate, but on the inside, they're just existing. I remember
Mhm.
one mom told me, I'm not saying I want to kill myself, but if I don't live to tomorrow, I'd be okay.
Mm.
And I was just so sad because I was like, you smile all the time, you're funny, you make sure everybody else is taken care of. But that fear of failure, it is really holding back a lot of moms because if they failed in anything, it makes them an overachiever for their families, for their jobs, for their communities. But then they're too scared to try for themselves because they don't want to think about that failure.
Yeah. And just like in anyone's day-to-day life, I think people approach parenthood thinking if I don't reach these benchmarks, I failed as a parent.
Yeah.
If my kid doesn't go to college, if they don't get a degree
Yeah.
in this field, if they're not, just certain things. But
Yeah.
it's good to have goals, but those benchmarks shouldn't hinder you when you don't
Yes.
reach them when you plan to, you
Yes,
know?
I agree. I just told you I have a 17-year-old, and it's like I'm just sharing this because I think somebody else out there needs to hear it.
Definitely.
He started school at 4. So
Mm,
he's getting ready to graduate this year. He just turned 17 a couple weeks ago, and
mm,
we've been talking about college because he doesn't really have a plan. But in us talking about him not really having a plan and at least like putting college there just in case, maybe taking a gap year,
mm,
I had to learn that I was kind of like trying to steer him in a path, and he
mm,
wanted to please me. So one day he finally got upset and was like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm trying to figure it out. And
uh-huh.
I wanted to like do what you're saying, but you're not giving me the chance to think. And I was just like, I don't want you to feel like that.
Mhm.
So I know for me growing up, I would have gotten in trouble, for speaking that way. But I was just so happy to see some passion in him. And
Mhm.
I think as parents, especially as moms, we have to remember that. It's not our goal to like control our kids and make them stay. When I speak to moms in the community, I tell them it's like a spinning top, right? When you
Mhm.
put a spinning top down, you spin it and you leave it. And
Mm.
if it goes, you move out of the way and you
Yeah.
let it go
You
and
don't
you just
interrupt the
enjoy
flow.
it.
Yep.
Right. So that's what I had to do. And I
Mm,
told him, I said, I'm proud of you for finally figuring out that you don't want to do something, but you are holding yourself back too. So now the
mhm.
conversation has opened up to even more opportunities for him. And I can see the light back in his eyes. So,
And sometimes that's all people need is that one little shimmer to get their gears going, and they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, I never thought about doing this or that." So,
Yeah.
all right. Now, you said your husband does help you with some of your mommy motivation. Can you tell us how
Yes.
he's got involved?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rest.
So my husband, he is my best friend, and we've known each other for almost 30 years.
Oh, wow.
But being married for 13 years, being together for 13 years and being married for 10 years, we've done a lot of growing together. And
Mhm.
honestly, he's somebody who really helped me with my self-esteem because being in previous relationships, being with other people who manipulate and use you, you are nervous to open yourself back up.
Mm,
And I was able to be honest with him about that, and being vulnerable and stuff. He likes to work out. So he was like, "Oh, you need to come
mm.
exercise." So I worked out for our wedding and I looked great. But then I had 2 babies back to back where I was like, oh,
Mhm.
all that work. And for 6 years, I just gave excuses. I was like, I can't go to the gym. I'm tired. When I come back, I got to cook. And, he just would let me be. But he's
Mhm.
like, you keep making these excuses, but I know what you want. If you just let me help you. It
Mhm.
wasn't like you don't look good anymore. You need to just go. He was just more like, when you're ready, I'm here. And I
Mhm.
needed that type of support. So now, it's been over a year, about a year and a half, I've been consistently in the gym at least 2 to 3 times a week.
All right, the next one is going to be, I'm keep my hand here. You got to bring your knee, remember, reverse punches. All right. Doing good though, man.
I do give
Okay.
myself breaks now because
Mhm.
I am not a machine, but I lost about 40 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And just being able to go in and realize it's not about going into work and everybody that's looking at me. It's about me going in to take an hour for myself out of a 24-hour day and
Right.
just focus on me. And then I can look and say, oh, look at these legs, or oh, look at how these pants can fit me again that I haven't been able to fit. So I've actually made it a lifestyle. It's not about just hitting the goal of the summer. It's
Mhm.
like a lifestyle choice where I can breathe better when I walk up the stairs and I can play with my children. It just makes such a big difference.
Right. And with women, it's like we have our hands in so many pots. We have to help our own parents. We got work. We got the kids.
Yeah.
Keeping the home decent. But you have to at least dedicate, like you said, at least an hour to yourself a day to do what you want to do.
My husband tells me there are, I believe, 168 hours in a week. If you go to the gym every day, that's still only 7 hours.
Yeah, that's nothing compared to the time we spend driving to and from work, watching Netflix and Hulu, all that.
Exactly.
That's nothing.
And all that stuff is going to be there. That's the great part about social media and just the way the world is with technology now. It's not like how it was when I was younger. You missed a show, you got to wait 6 weeks for it to come on.
Right, the reruns.
Yeah. But now you have just so much more freedom and so much more power. And that's what I work to help these moms see. I think that in getting caught up in all of those responsibilities and they start to drown in them, they really truly forget that they have power. So I help them to reclaim that power by focusing on their confidence and their joy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Latasha's husband, Adonis Gatling, couldn't join us in studio today, but he is joining us via Zoom. Thanks for joining us, Adonis. Can you tell us some of the changes that you noticed in your female clients before and after giving birth?
When I find out they're pregnant, first thing we do is tell her to give her doctor and make sure that she's okay, so that we don't have no extra stress. Because, like I said, extra stress, because already bringing a baby into the world, bringing somebody into the world, it is a stress. After that, it's about strength, conditioning, and maintaining the body, core strength and everything, because she has to carry this baby. She may lose confidence in just how she looks, how she moves and stuff. So now, after the baby, we want to work on getting you back into the gym, getting acclimated with the gym again. Want to work on your confidence. Want to work on the exercises and how we're going to progress them. Don't come back in and just try to jump into it. Just relax, mentally relax, and then let the body follow.
All right, thanks for joining us, Adonis. So we got the male and physical mindset perspective covered as well. Before we get out of here, I just have a couple more questions. I see you brought some stuff with us.
Yes, I did. So the fun thing about what I do is that I'm a creative person. I didn't have much of an imagination as a child, so I'm grateful to God that it's unlocked now. And for 2024, I created the New Year, New Mindset Affirmation Journal with affirmation cards. So it's actually a kit that you can purchase from my site.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and show it to the camera.
And what I love about the journal is that as you go through it, I give you instructions on how you will use it. And it's a daily reminder just for you for your goals for 2024. Like this says, I want to achieve, I plan to travel to, I want to quit. And I let moms know this is not a test. This is not something you're going to do to get back to me.
You don't have to do it in 2024.
Yeah.
Specifically.
And you can just dream. Sometimes like that's how you unlock your mindset, by just actually dreaming and thinking about the things before you start to put all of the function behind it. Because the first thing we do is make an excuse, right? And then we put the kids first and then we don't get anything done. So I also included some coloring pages for you, so that way you can kind of like, decompress. And then I have 5 weeks in here, and it goes with the affirmation cards. So the way that the cards are set up, there are 7 chakras. And out of the 7 chakras, I did 5 affirmations for each. So that'll be 35 pages in the journal for you for your 5 weeks with 35 cards. And this one says, I understand I need help finding myself, therefore I will. No more shame, no more fear.
And those are daily affirmations? These
are daily affirmations, and you have 35 in total. And I made these up because I realized that moms, like, they use affirmations, but they don't believe them.
They're just like, repeating.
They're just repeating what's being said. And I said, like, the good thing about what I'm doing now is, like, I am getting confirmation for it, right? So I said, God, I need some affirmations that are, like, really real. I don't want to tell people stuff that, just sounds like I just read it off of social media. I'm rewriting someone's words. So these actually came to me when I was on a plane. And I was like, I'm clearing my mind. I just want to write. And I wrote them down, and I shared it with one of the moms in the mom maintenance community. And she was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. I can do that, you know, and then as you do them, it'll step you up and say different things like I speak this into existence and so forth and so on.
I like that because you can read off, oh, I am wealthy, I will be successful in this year. But if you're not actually believing it yourself,
You're
then
like, that's not
how can you
happening.
expect anyone else to believe in you?
And that's the thing about mindset, because every time you give yourself something positive, you're going to give yourself like 3 negatives, you know. But what I do is if I can't think positive about a situation, I'm neutral. I say, God, I don't want to think anything right now because I know that I'm going to think that it's not going to work out for me, and that's not fair to me. You know, it's a lot of steps to put yourself first. And what I like about the cards too is that I made them this size. So if you wanted to take it and put it in your room, you could. You can put it next to your computer. You can take it and tack it up on a mirror. Again, it gives you the freedom and the power so you can decide how you want to do things.
See, I was thinking just to myself, like, oh, if you're running late and don't have time, just grab it on the way out the door.
You can.
Just read it when you get to work.
And you can. And the good thing about it is you can share this with other people. And that's what I love about it. Like, I think that moms need a lot more portability, because when we're thinking in our lives, we already have things we have to do with the children and, you know, with other people if you're a caregiver, and everything for them is always like scheduled, you know, or sometimes it's not scheduled and you just got to get on it. But how about being able to say, you know what, at the end of the day, I know I can get in my bed and I can read the card and take 5 minutes to write on the page and say what this affirmation means for me today. So I help them with building out 5 minutes with me so they can start to build out more time for themselves.
Okay, all right. So just before you go, what's one last thing you think every woman should know before she embarks on the motherhood journey?
I want moms to understand that there are going to be so many things that you can't control, but try your best to live in the moment, because it seems like I blinked my eye and my son is 17. And I'm just like, where's my baby? You know, and we were looking at videos and pictures the other day, and he was like, that's a big back TV in the back. They don't make those anymore. And I was like, I know, but I can remember the day. You know, I can remember the smells. And I'm so glad that even though I was in like not the best mindset at the time because I was so stressed and struggling and drowning in responsibilities, I can remember some of those times. But it makes me be more mindful today, and I'm so much more grateful because so many things can change, but I can control the way that I think and the way that I manage my emotions.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah,
that was
thanks
very
for having
eye-opening. So there you have it. One decision has the possibility to change the mental mindset of a woman for years.
Yes.
The main point I want everyone to take away is that to do the research, discuss with multiple doctors, and determine what works best for your lifestyle. I want to thank our guest, Latasha Gatling, for joining me today. Make sure you follow her on Instagram at TashaG2022, and you can follow me on X at Sierra J Live. Thanks for watching.